My beloved child, pause right here. This is not random. January 31 is not just another date passing quietly on the calendar. This moment has been circled in the spirit long before you arrived here. Archangel Michael is stepping forward now with a message that carries urgency, clarity, and divine timing. This is a spiritual checkpoint, and many are about to miss it simply because they are distracted. But you were guided here for a reason. Listen closely. Today marks a line between delay and movement, between repeating cycles and stepping into alignment. What must be understood today is not complicated, but it is weighty. If you ignore it, things will feel stuck. If you receive it, momentum will begin immediately. Archangel Michael says this checkpoint exists because heaven is waiting on your awareness, not your effort. Too many believe they must do more, try harder, or wait longer. But the truth is this: delay is not coming from heaven. Delay is coming from misunderstanding. There is a door in front of you that has already been unlocked. Yet you keep checking the handle instead of pushing it open. January 31 carries the energy of recognition, recognizing what season you are truly in. You have been preparing, refining, shedding, and enduring longer than you realize. And now the question is no longer are you ready? The question is, will you move without hesitation? Archangel Michael explains that checkpoints are moments where the soul must choose clarity over comfort. This is why some of you feel restless today. Your spirit feels alert. Your thoughts feel louder. Even your memories are surfacing unexpectedly. This is not confusion. It is inventory. Heaven is helping you see what can no longer travel with you. Understand this clearly. What worked before will not work going forward. The old ways of deciding, reacting, and waiting have expired. Not because they were wrong, but because you have grown beyond them. January 31 is the day this truth becomes unavoidable. Some of you keep asking for signs, but this message is the sign. Archangel Michael says there is a tendency right now to overthink the next step. You are trying to predict outcomes, protect yourself from disappointment, or ensure everything feels safe. But movement does not require certainty. It requires alignment. And alignment is already present. Today, you must understand this. Hesitation is not humility. Waiting when you are already instructed becomes resistance. And resistance does not look like rebellion. It looks like delay disguised as wisdom. This checkpoint is to separate intention from action. You have known what needs to change. You have felt the pull toward something new. New decisions, new boundaries, new commitments, or even new courage. Yet you have postponed it, telling yourself, soon. Heaven is now saying, now. Archangel Michael stands as a protector, but also as a commander. And today, his message is direct. Movement is protected when it is aligned. You are not being asked to rush blindly. You are being asked to stop postponing what has already been confirmed in your spirit. Notice how certain conversations keep repeating in your life. Notice how the same lessons show up in different forms. This is not punishment. It is confirmation that the checkpoint has arrived. Until the understanding shifts, the pattern repeats. January 31 is powerful because it exposes false patience. Patience is faith in timing. False patience is fear wearing a calm mask. One waits in trust. The other waits to avoid risk. Archangel Michael explains that what must be understood today is simple but uncomfortable. You cannot move forward while negotiating with the past. Some attachments are subtle. Old expectations. Old roles. Old identities that once protected you but now restrict you. This is why clarity feels sharp today. You may feel emotional without knowing why, or you may feel strangely calm. Both are signs that your spirit recognizes this moment. Do not scroll away from this truth. The delay you feared is ending, but only if you stop delaying yourself. There is divine acceleration available, but acceleration only activates after decision. Heaven responds to movement, not contemplation. The moment you choose alignment, assistance follows. Archangel Michael says that many doors open after the first step, not before. If you wait to see everything clearly, you will wait too long. Opens in Mohu. This checkpoint is merciful. It is an invitation to move without dragging yesterday into tomorrow. You are allowed to outgrow explanations. You are allowed to choose without defending yourself. You are allowed to act without everyone understanding. January 31 is the day this permission is activated. Stay with this message. What comes next will bring precision to what you are feeling right now, and you will recognize exactly where movement is required. Beloved one, let your heart settle as this message deepens. What you felt stirring earlier was not imagination, it was recognition. January 31 does not only reveal what must change, it also reveals why movement has felt heavy until now. Archangel Michael explains that many delays are not caused by lack of opportunity, but by unresolved permission. You were waiting to feel allowed to choose yourself, allowed to move forward without consensus, allowed to stop explaining your calling to people who were never meant to understand it. This checkpoint is exposing silent agreements you made long ago, agreements to stay small, to remain agreeable, to delay bold steps until conditions felt perfect. But perfection was never the requirement. Obedience was. And obedience, in this season, looks like clarity-backed action. There is something important you must understand today. Clarity does not come to those who wait. It comes to those who listen and respond. Archangel Michael says many are spiritually mature enough to discern the instruction but emotionally hesitant to execute it. This inner conflict has created exhaustion. You are tired not because life is heavy, but because you have been carrying decisions you already know the answer to. Notice how your energy shifts when you imagine finally moving forward. That lightness is confirmation. Peace is not found in delay. It is found in alignment. January 31 stands as a marker because it exposes excuses that once sounded reasonable. I need more time. I need more confirmation. I need to feel more confident. These were protective at one point, but now they have become barriers. Archangel Michael is gentle, yet firm. What once protected you will now restrict you if you keep it. Some of you are being asked to move forward without full emotional closure. This is difficult but necessary. Closure does not always come before obedience. Sometimes it comes because of it. When you step forward, the lingering confusion loses its power. Understand this clearly. You are not behind. You are not late. You are precisely at the moment where understanding must turn into embodiment. January 31 is the day where knowing is no longer enough. Wisdom must become motion. Archangel Michael explains that spiritual checkpoints often feel uncomfortable because they remove neutrality. You can no longer say maybe. You can no longer stay undecided. The energy of today presses you to choose direction, even if the path unfolds step by step. And here is the reassurance you need. You are not moving alone. Protection increases with alignment. Guidance becomes clearer once you commit. Support reveals itself when you stop hesitating. This is how divine movement works. If this message is resonating with you, this is the moment to engage with it. Take a second to like this video, because it helps this message reach others who are standing at the same checkpoint. Share it with someone who has been feeling stuck or delayed without understanding why. Leave a comment declaring that you are ready to move forward. Your words matter in the spirit. And if this channel continues to speak clarity into your life, subscribe and become part of this growing community. You are not meant to walk this season alone. Archangel Michael says that momentum is building quietly for those who choose courage over comfort today. You may not see immediate results, but you will feel internal alignment almost instantly. The alignment is the signal that you are finally moving in the right direction. Some of you are worried about making the wrong choice. But here is the truth you need to hear. Indecision is the only wrong choice right now. Even imperfect action creates learning. But stagnation creates regret. January 31 carries a specific instruction. Stop rehearsing the past. Stop reevaluating decisions that are already complete. Your future requires your full attention. The next season cannot arrive if your focus remains behind you. Archangel Michael emphasizes that speed does not mean chaos. Moving forward without delay does not mean rushing. It means responding when clarity is present. You already know what needs to be addressed, released, or embraced. This message is not introducing something new. It is confirming what has been whispering in your spirit. Let go of the belief that others must validate your movement. Their understanding is not required for your obedience. Their agreement is not necessary for your protection. What is aligned will sustain you. There is grace available today to simplify. Complexity dissolves when truth is acknowledged. Stop adding layers of doubt to decisions that are already clear. This checkpoint is not asking you to figure everything out, only to take the next honest step. As this message continues, something even more specific is about to be revealed, something that will make everything you are feeling suddenly make sense. Stay with this. You will be glad you did. Chosen one, breathe deeply as this message reaches its turning point. What you are sensing now is not pressure, it is precision. Archangel Michael reveals that January 31 does more than call you forward. It seals understanding so confusion can no longer claim authority over your next steps. This is the moment where spiritual fog lifts, not because circumstances change, but because your perception does. There is something very important being clarified now. Many of you believe the delay was about readiness, timing, or resources. But Archangel Michael corrects this gently. The delay was about identity alignment. You were trying to move forward while still seeing yourself through an outdated lens. Today, that lens is removed. You are no longer who you were when the instruction was first given. You have matured. Your discernment has sharpened. Your tolerance for misalignment has decreased. That discomfort you feel around old habits, old conversations, or old compromises is not restlessness. It is growth. And growth demands change. This checkpoint marks the moment where you stop asking, "Am I allowed?" and start declaring, "I am assigned." Assignment brings responsibility, and responsibility brings authority. Archangel Michael stands beside those who accept responsibility for their calling, not those who endlessly analyze it. There is a quiet courage being activated in you now. Not the loud kind that seeks attention, but the steady kind that makes decisions and follows through. This courage does not argue. It does not announce itself. It simply moves. Understand this truth today. You do not need everyone to come with you. Some people were meant to walk you to the door, not through it. Releasing them is not rejection. It is recognition of seasons. And seasons change without apology. Archangel Michael explains that one of the greatest spiritual misunderstandings is believing that peace comes from agreement. Peace comes from alignment. Agreement may never come, but alignment will always produce peace, even when it costs you familiarity. January 31 draws a clear boundary between who you were and who you are becoming. Crossing this boundary does not require permission from your past. It only requires obedience to your present instruction. Some of you are being asked to move forward quietly. Not everything needs to be explained. Not every decision needs to be announced. There is power in silent obedience. Heaven sees what others do not. This checkpoint is also releasing you from spiritual guilt. You are not selfish for choosing growth. You are not unfaithful for choosing clarity. You are not wrong for choosing what aligns with your calling, even if it disrupts old expectations. Archangel Michael says that once understanding settles, resistance loses its grip. The inner debate quiets. A constant questioning fades. And suddenly, the next step feels obvious. You may still feel nervous, but nervousness does not mean you are off track. It means you are stepping beyond what is familiar. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is movement in spite of it. Today, the instruction is simple. Stop shrinking decisions to make others comfortable. The cost of staying small is now greater than the risk of stepping forward, and heaven will not ask you to sacrifice your future to preserve someone else's comfort. January 31 is a seal. What you understand today cannot be undone. Even if you try to return to old patterns, they will no longer fit. That is grace. Archangel Michael declares that once a soul crosses a checkpoint, heaven begins rearranging support systems. New connections, new insights, new opportunities begin to surface, not all at once, but right on time. You will look back and realize that movement unlocked everything. Let this understanding anchor itself in you. You are not rutting. You are responding. You are not abandoning wisdom. You are embodying it. And now, as this truth settles into your spirit, a blessing is released. Type "I move" without delay in the comments if this message is confirming what you already felt in your heart. Blessing code 931 is now activated. This is where the mission extends beyond you. As this word goes forth, understand that every seed sown helps this message reach another soul standing at their own spiritual checkpoint. I hear the Spirit say, as you give, I open rivers where there were dry places. When you support this work through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are placing oil in the lamp so light does not go out. I am inviting you, yes, you, to become a carrier of this word to places I will send it next. This is not a donation. It is obedience in motion, a seed released into living ground. I speak blessing over every giver now. May your steps be ordered, your timing redeemed, and your harvest accelerated. Obey this prompting now and let heaven respond. Beloved soul, now that understanding has been sealed, Archangel Michael turns your attention to what happens after a checkpoint is crossed. This is where many feel uncertain, because movement brings unfamiliar terrain. But hear this clearly, unfamiliar does not mean unsafe. It simply means new authority is being exercised. January 31 did not just awaken awareness, it repositioned you. And repositioning always changes perspective. Archangel Michael explains that once a soul accepts clarity, the spiritual atmosphere around them begins to shift. You may notice subtle changes first. Certain conversations feel empty. Certain routines feel heavy. Certain environments feel louder than they used to. This is not dissatisfaction. It is discernment sharpening. What once blended into the background is now clearly visible. There is a recalibration happening within you. Your tolerance for delay, compromise, and emotional confusion is decreasing. You are no longer comfortable with half answers or vague intentions. This is a sign of spiritual maturity. You are beginning to value alignment more than approval. Many wonder why peace sometimes comes with solitude. Archangel Michael clarifies this gently. When you step into a new level of obedience, not everyone can hear you from where they are. Silence is not abandonment. It is space for strength to form. Even warriors must step away from noise to prepare. This part of the journey requires trust in subtle guidance. You may not receive loud signs or dramatic confirmations. Instead, you will feel steady conviction, the kind that does not argue or rush, but simply knows. That knowing is more reliable than emotional excitement. Understand this. Once you move forward without delay, resistance often shifts location. It no longer attacks your direction. It questions your confidence. Thoughts like, who do you think you are? Or what if this fails? May surface. These are not warnings. They are echoes of an identity you have already outgrown. Archangel Michael reminds you that confidence is not arrogance. Confidence is agreement with truth. When heaven assigns movement, it also assigns authority. You are not walking ahead of grace. You are walking within it. There is also something being refined in your communication. You may feel less inclined to explain yourself, less reactive to misunderstanding, less interested in defending your choices. This is wisdom developing roots. Mature clarity does not shout, it stands. January 31 marked the end of inner negotiation. Now comes the phase of embodied decision. This means aligning daily actions with what you already understand. Small choices will matter. Where you place your time, what you give your attention to, which thoughts you entertain. These are not minor details. They are reinforcements of your new direction. Archangel Michael says that discipline will feel different now. It will no longer feel forced. It will feel natural, because it is connected to purpose rather than pressure. You are not trying to prove anything. You are simply honoring alignment. You not be surprised if old distractions lose their appeal. Things that once helped you cope may no longer satisfy you. This is not loss. It is liberation. You are being trained to draw strength from truth rather than escape. Some of you may feel a quiet grief for what is ending. Let that be honored. Growth does not deny emotion. It integrates it. You can acknowledge what was while still choosing what is next. Both can exist without contradiction. Archangel Michael emphasizes that moving forward without delay does not mean constant motion. It means integral motion. Rest will still be part of your rhythm. Reflection will still have value. But you will no longer pause out of fear. You will pause out of wisdom. Pay attention to how your prayers are changing. You may notice fewer questions and more declarations. Less for signs and more for strife. This shift reveals trust. You are no longer trying to convince yourself. You are aligning yourself. The path ahead may feel narrower, but it is clearer. The narrow paths require focus, not force. And focus brings efficiency. You will waste less energy explaining, fixing, or carrying what was never yours to hold. Archangel Michael reassures you. You are not being rushed by heaven. You are being synchronized with it. Timing matters. And now, your timing is matching divine flow. This phase will also reveal new forms of support. Not always from familiar sources. Sometimes help arrives through unexpected insight, quiet encouragement, or sudden opportunity. Stay observant. Support often comes disguised as simplicity. As this part of the message settles, remember this truth. Movement without delay is not about speed. It is about obedience without resistance, and resistance has lost its authority over you. What lies ahead will require steadiness, not striving, and you are more prepared than you think. Stay attentive. What is coming next will bring even deeper clarity to how this movement unfolds in your life. My dear one, as the journey continues, Archangel Michael draws your focus to an inner shift that often goes unnoticed, yet determines everything that follows. After understanding is received and movement begins, there is a season where consistency is tested, not by chaos, but by subtle temptation to slow down, to revisit old reasoning, to question what has already been confirmed. This is where many lose momentum, not because they are wrong, but because they underestimate the power of quiet persistence. January 31 did not just awaken clarity, it initiated responsibility. Responsibility is not pressure, it is stewardship of what you have been shown. When heaven reveals truth, it expects care, not perfection. You are not being evaluated on how fast you move, but on whether you remain aligned. Archangel Michael explains that consistency does not require constant motivation. Motivation rises and falls. Alignment remains. There will be days when movement feels effortless and days when it feels ordinary. Do not mistake ordinary for ineffective. Many of the greatest shifts happen during unremarkable moments. There is also a recalibration of desire taking place. You may notice that what once excited you now feels neutral, while what once intimidated you now feels necessary. This is not contradiction. It is evolution. Desire aligns with assignment when identity stabilizes. Understand this truth. The enemy of progress is not failure. It is distraction. Distraction rarely announces itself. It appears as harmless delay, excessive preparation, or unnecessary reevaluation. But every time you pause to reconsider what is already clear, you weaken momentum. Archangel Michael urges you to protect the clarity you have received, not by isolating yourself, but by choosing what you allow to influence your thinking. Not every opinion deserves access. Not every emotion requires analysis. Discernment means knowing what to engage and what to release. There is also an invitation in this season to simplify. Complexity often hides fear. Simplicity reveals trust. You do not need multiple backup plans. You need alignment with the plan already unfolding. Trust does not require control. It requires cooperation. Some of you are learning to move without constant reassurance. This may feel uncomfortable at first. You are used to feedback, affirmation, or visible results. But Archangel Michael says that mature obedience continues even when applause is absent. Heaven sees consistency long before the world sees fruit. This phase also teaches patience of a different kind. Not the patience of waiting, but the patience of building. Building requires repetition, faithfulness in small decisions, integrity in quiet moments. These are the bricks of lasting movement. You may notice that emotional highs are less intense now. That does not mean passion is fading. It means foundation is forming. Foundations are laid quietly, steadily, without spectacle, and they determine how much weight the structure can hold. Archangel Michael reminds you that strength is revealed in rhythm. Find a rhythm that supports alignment. Rest when needed, but do not retreat. Reflect when necessary, but do not reconsider truth. Balance will come naturally when purpose leads. January 31 marked the beginning of forward motion, but momentum is sustained through daily agreement. Agreement with truth. Agreement with instruction. Agreement with identity. Every time you act in alignment, confidence grows, not because you feel bold, but because you feel steady. There may be moments when you miss the familiarity of old patterns. Familiarity feels safe, even when it limits growth. Acknowledge the feeling, but do not follow it. You are not meant to return to what you have outgrown. Archangel Michael emphasizes that discipline now serves freedom, not restriction. Boundaries you set will protect energy. Choices you make will preserve clarity. You are not limiting yourself. You are refining your path. This season will reward those who remain present. Do not rush ahead mentally. Do not live in future outcomes. Focus on what is required now. Obedience in the present prepares provision in the future. You are learning to trust process over outcome. Outcome will come, but process shapes character, and character sustains calling. As this message unfolds, remember, you are not proving your worth. You are honoring your assignment. Movement without delay is not dramatic. It is faithful. Stay attentive. What comes next will address the subtle signs you may already be noticing around you, signals that confirm you are exactly where you need to be. Beloved child, as this message unfolds further, Archangel Michael now speaks about the external confirmations that begin to appear once inner alignment stabilizes. These confirmations do not always arrive as dramatic breakthroughs. More often, they show up as subtle shifts, changed responses, unexpected openings, quiet affirmations that tell you you are no longer walking against the current. You may notice that situations which once strained you now resolve faster or lose their emotional grip. This is not coincidence. It is alignment creating efficiency. When your inner direction is clear, resistance no longer has permission to linger. What once required struggle now requires discernment. Archangel Michael explains that forward movement recalibrates your environment. People respond differently. Conversations change tone. Opportunities arise that seem ordinary but carry long-term impact. These are signs that your spiritual posture has shifted. You are no longer reacting, you are directing. This phase can feel strangely calm. Do not mistake calm for stagnation. Calm is often the result of internal agreement. When the inner conflict ends, energy stops leaking. You may find yourself less reactive, less anxious, and more observant. This is strength consolidating. There is also a release from urgency-driven decisions. You are no longer acting from fear of missing out or pressure to prove progress. Instead, you move from clarity. This makes your actions more effective, even if they appear slower to others. Heaven values precision over speed. Archangel Michael reminds you that momentum is not measured by visibility. Some of the most important shifts happen privately. You are building credibility in the spirit by remaining consistent even when no one is watching. This credibility attracts favor at the right time. You may also notice that your discernment around people is sharper. You sense who supports your movement and who drains it. This awareness is not for judgment. It is for stewardship. Protecting your alignment means choosing wisely where you invest emotional energy. January 31 activated movement, but sustaining that movement requires boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are filters. They allow what strengthens you and block what weakens you. Archangel Michael encourages you to honor these boundaries without guilt. Some of you are learning to say no without explanation. This is not coldness, it is clarity. You are no longer required to justify obedience. When alignment is secure, explanation becomes optional. This part of the journey also brings renewed focus. Distractions that once pulled your attention lose their appeal. You become more intentional with time, more selective with commitments. This is not isolation, it is prioritization. Archangel Michael speaks gently here. Do not underestimate the power of consistency during quiet seasons. Quiet does not mean inactive. It means rooted. Roots grow in silence, and deep roots support visible growth later. If this message is speaking directly to where you are right now, take a moment to interact with it. Like this video so it reaches others standing at the same point of decision. Share it with someone who needs clarity and courage today. Leave a comment declaring that you are staying aligned. Your declaration matters. And if this channel continues to bring confirmation and direction into your life, subscribe and consider joining the community here. What we build together carries impact beyond what you see. Archangel Michael also highlights the importance of community during sustained movement. You do not need many voices, just the right ones. Stay connected to spaces that reinforce truth rather than question it endlessly. Reinforcement strengthens resolve. There may be moments when progress feels invisible. Do not let that discourage you. Seeds grow underground before they break the surface. Trust what is forming beneath what you can see. This season rewards attentiveness. Pay attention to small confirmations. Pay attention to peace. Pay attention to increased clarity in decision-making. These are not minor. They are markers that alignment is holding. Archangel Michael assures you that you are not missing anything meant for you. When alignment leads, nothing bypasses you. What arrives late is often what was misaligned. As you continue, remember this: obedience compounds. Each aligned decision strengthens the next one. Momentum builds quietly, then suddenly. Hold on. What comes next will help you recognize a powerful sign many overlook, and once you see it, you will never question your direction again. Beloved one, Archangel Michael now turns your awareness toward a sign that often goes unnoticed, yet confirms alignment more clearly than outward success ever could. This sign is internal stability, not emotional numbness and not detachment, but steadiness. When you are moving in the right direction, chaos loses its power to control your reactions. You still feel, but you are no longer shaken in the same way. This is one of the clearest indicators that you have crossed the checkpoint correctly. You may notice that situations which once triggered anxiety now invite discernment instead. You pause. You observe. You respond rather than react. This shift is not accidental. It is the fruit of alignment settling into your nervous system, your thoughts, and your spiritual posture. Archangel Michael explains that many people look for confirmation in results, but heaven looks for confirmation in consistency of spirit. Are you stable when misunderstood? Are you grounded when plans adjust? Are you clear even when outcomes are delayed? These are not small indicators. They are signs of maturity. This is also the stage where self-trust begins to rebuild. Not arrogance, not self-reliance, but trust rooted in discernment. You stop doubting every instinct. You stop outsourcing decisions to voices that do not carry your assignment. You begin to listen inwardly with greater confidence. January 31 unlocked this process, but now you are living it. And living alignment feels different than imagining it. It is quieter, less dramatic, more anchored. You may even wonder at times if you are doing enough. Archangel Michael answers this clearly. Peace is not a lack of progress. It is proof of direction. There is a deep recalibration happening in how you interpret challenges. Instead of seeing them as signs to stop, you now see them as signals to adjust. This is wisdom in motion. You are no longer threatened by resistance. You are informed by it. Another sign emerging now is patience without passivity. You are willing to wait without disengaging. You stay present. You stay alert. You stay faithful to what you know, even when nothing seems to be happening externally. This kind of patience is powerful. It keeps the channel open. Archangel Michael also points out a subtle but important change. You are less interested in proving yourself. You do not need to explain your worth, justify your timing, or convince others of your vision. This does not come from indifference. It comes from security. When identity stabilizes, validation loses urgency. You may find that some relationships naturally shift during this phase. Not through conflict, but through distance. Conversations no longer flow the same way. Priorities no longer align. This is not rejection. It is resonance adjusting. What vibrates at a different frequency no longer holds your attention. This can feel lonely at moments, but Archangel Michael reassures you. Solitude is not abandonment. It is often preparation. Space is being created for connections that can meet you where you are now, not where you were. Pay attention also to how you recover from setbacks. Recovery time shortens when alignment is strong. You do not spiral as long. You do not internalize disappointment the same way. You learn, adjust, and continue. This resilience is a sign that clarity has taken root. You are also becoming more selective with your energy. You recognize that attention is currency. Where you place it matters. You no longer give unlimited access to thoughts, people, or patterns that dilute focus. This is not control, it is stewardship. Archangel Michael says that this stage is where many unknowingly pass another threshold. They stop waiting for permission entirely. They move because it is right, not because it is approved. This is quiet authority. Do not rush to label this season. Do not pressure it to look impressive. Foundations rarely do. They exist to support what comes next, and what comes next will require exactly the stability being formed now. There is a reason heaven often works invisibly before acting visibly. Visibility attracts scrutiny. Invisibility builds strength. You are being strengthened. As you continue, remain attentive to peace. Peace does not mean absence of challenge. It means presence of direction. When direction is clear, challenges lose their power to derail you. Archangel Michael affirms that you are not circling. You are advancing, even if the movement feels internal. Internal shifts always precede external change. Stay grounded. Stay observant. What is about to be revealed next will connect the internal stability you are experiencing with a very real external shift that is closer than you think. Beloved child, Archangel Michael now brings your attention to the external shift that follows internal stability. This is where many are surprised because they expect fireworks, announcements, or instant transformation. But divine movement rarely arrives with noise. It arrives with alignment that suddenly makes progress feel natural. Doors begin to open without force. Conversations shift without conflict. Timing starts working with you instead of against you. This stage is marked by something subtle yet powerful. Friction decreases. What once felt heavy becomes manageable. What once required constant effort begins to flow with less resistance. This does not mean challenges disappear. It means challenges no longer confuse you. You know how to respond. You know what matters. You know what to release. Archangel Michael explains that this is the reward of not delaying obedience. When you move in alignment, heaven adjusts the terrain beneath your feet. Paths that were blocked are out. Resources reposition. Support aligns quietly. You may not see everything immediately, but you will feel the difference. Some of you will notice sudden clarity around practical matters, work, decisions, timing, finances, or structure. This clarity is not random. It is the manifestation of inner order. When confusion leaves the spirit, order enters life. January 31 did not promise ease. It promised momentum. And momentum feels like progress that no longer needs constant pushing. You are no longer dragging yourself forward. You are being carried by rhythm. Archangel Michael also reveals that discernment now protects you from unnecessary battles. You no longer engage every conflict. You no longer explain every choice. You no longer correct every misunderstanding. Silence becomes a strategy, not avoidance. Wisdom chooses its moments. There may be people who notice the change in you before you do. They may say you seem calmer, clearer, more focused. This is not because you have all the answers. It is because you are no longer divided within yourself. This stage also brings confirmation through alignment, not through signs alone. Things simply begin to make sense. You stop forcing outcomes. You trust timing. You recognize when to act and when to wait. This balance is rare, and it is precious. Archangel Michael says many underestimate this phase because it feels normal. But normal is exactly what alignment feels like. Chaos is not your default state. Clarity is. Peace is not the absence of calling. It is the environment where calling thrives. You may also notice that old temptations to delay resurface briefly. Thoughts like maybe later, or I can slow down now. Recognize these not as failures, but as final tests of commitment. Momentum must be maintained intentionally. This is why presence matters now. Stay aware. Stay grounded. Do not rush ahead mentally. Do not drift back emotionally. Remain where your feet are. This is where power flows. Archangel Michael emphasizes that consistency in this phase will produce visible fruit sooner than you expect. Not because you strive harder, but because alignment compounds. Each aligned choice strengthens the next. If this message is resonating deeply, pause for a moment and acknowledge it. Type "I walk in alignment" in the comments if you feel this confirmation in your spirit. Blessing code 1446 is now activated. And as this blessing releases, the mission expands. The Spirit is saying, as you sow, I send this word further than your reach. When you support this work through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a channel. You are fueling a flow of light to souls standing at their own checkpoints. I am calling you personally to respond, because this support is a prophetic act, not a transaction. Every seed placed here becomes oil for the lamp, fire for the altar, and provision for voices yet to hear. I declare that those who obey this prompting will see acceleration, clarity, and divine return. Act now, and let heaven answer your obedience. Beloved one, as the momentum established earlier continues to unfold, Archangel Michael now speaks about a phase that often arrives quietly but carries deep significance. This is the phase of integration. What you have understood, chosen, and begun to live must now settle into your daily rhythm. Integration is where alignment becomes lifestyle, not just revelation. You may notice that you are no longer thinking about movement as much as you are simply living it. Decisions feel less dramatic. Choices come with less emotional charge. This does not mean the calling has lost importance. It means it has become internalized. When truth is integrated, it no longer needs constant attention. It operates naturally. Archangel Michael explains that many people crave constant spiritual intensity, but intensity is not sustainability. Integration is. What you carry must be livable, and what is livable can last. This is also where discernment deepens further. You begin to sense not just what is right or wrong, but what is timely. Timing awareness is a sign of maturity. You no longer rush simply because you can. You wait because you understand when movement will be most effective. There is a growing trust between you and heaven now. You respond, and you see response. You move, and support follows. This builds confidence, not in outcomes, but in process. You are learning how guidance feels in real time. Integration also reveals where habits need adjustment. Not because something is sinful or wrong, but because it no longer supports alignment. You may feel drawn to simplify routines, refine focus, or restructure time. These impulses are not random. They are alignment expressing itself practically. Archangel Michael reminds you that spiritual growth always seeks expression in natural life. If understanding does not influence how you live, it remains incomplete. But you are completing it now, step by step. There may be moments where you reflect on how far you have come and feel a quiet gratitude. Honor that. Gratitude anchors progress. It keeps you grounded in awareness rather than expectation. You might also notice that your reactions to others' opinions have softened. You listen without absorbing. You consider without adopting. This emotional boundary is a sign of internal strength. You are no longer shaped by every external voice. This phase can feel less exciting to the ego, but deeply satisfying to the spirit. There is less chasing and more inhabiting. You are inhabiting clarity. Archangel Michael emphasizes that integration does not mean settling. It means stabilizing. And stability is what allows expansion later. Without stability, expansion collapses. You may feel a stronger sense of personal responsibility now. Not burden, but ownership. You own your choices. You own your direction. This ownership is empowering. It removes the temptation to blame or wait. This stage also invites reflection on long-term vision. Not detailed planning, but directional awareness. You begin to sense where this path leads even if the steps remain unclear. Direction matters more than detail. Archangel Michael reassures you that you are not missing out by moving steadily. You are building something that will not need constant repair. Though it aligned out lasts fast and unstable, there may still be external noise, opinions, news, pressure, but it no longer dictates your internal state. You have learned how to return to center. That is a skill many never develop. Pay attention to your inner dialogue now. It is likely kinder, clearer, and less reactive. This is evidence of alignment shaping thought patterns. What you believe about yourself influences how you move through the world. Integration also prepares you for increased responsibility. What is stable can carry weight. What is integrated can support others. This is why this phase matters so deeply, even if it feels quiet. Archangel Michael says that many underestimate this part because it lacks drama. But heaven values fruit over noise. And fruit grows slowly, consistently, reliably. As this message continues, remain present. What comes next will address the moment when integration gives way to expansion, and how to recognize when that moment arrives without forcing it. Beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks about a moment that many reach without realizing it has arrived. This is the moment when integration quietly turns into expansion. Expansion does not always announce itself. It begins as increased capacity. You notice you can handle more without strain. You respond with wisdom instead of overwhelm. You remain grounded even when responsibility increases. This is how expansion first reveals itself. You may feel a subtle stretching in your life right now. More is being asked of you, not in quantity, but in quality. Your attention, your integrity, your consistency matter more than ever. This is not pressure, it is preparation. What is stable is now being trusted with more. Archangel Michael explains that expansion tests alignment in a new way. Earlier, the test with courage. Now, the test is focus. When opportunities increase, distractions often do too. Not every open door is yours to walk through. Discernment must remain active. This is where many slow down unnecessarily, fearing they might lose balance. But hear this clearly. You are not expanding beyond your capacity. Your capacity has already grown. You are simply becoming aware of it. January 31 began a movement that now wants expression beyond the internal. You may find yourself influencing others unintentionally. Your calm steadies them. Your clarity reassures them. Your presence carries weight. This is not accidental. Alignment creates impact. Archangel Michael also reveals that expansion often arrives disguised as responsibility. You may be entrusted with decisions, leadership, or influence you did not actively seek. This does not mean you are meant to carry everything. It means you are meant to carry what aligns. There is a temptation in this phase to overextend, to say yes to everything that feels meaningful. But wisdom now requires selectivity. Expansion does not mean availability to all things. It means commitment to the right things. You are learning to recognize when something aligns with your assignment versus when it simply appeals to your compassion. Both are good, but only one is sustainable. Alignment protects longevity. This phase may also bring visibility, not necessarily public recognition, but increased notice. People pay attention to consistency. They trust stability. Do not shrink back from this. Visibility is not exposure when alignment is intact. Archangel Michael reassures you that humility does not mean hiding. It means staying teachable while remaining obedient. You can be seen without being consumed by opinion. If this message is helping you recognize where you are right now, pause and interact with it. Like this video so it reaches others who are stepping into expansion without fully understanding it yet. Share it with someone who is feeling the weight of new responsibility and needs clarity. Leave a comment declaring that you are staying focused and aligned. And if this channel continues to confirm and guide you, subscribe and consider joining this growing community. What we are building together is purposeful. Now listen carefully. This is where many people unconsciously disengage. They assume they have arrived, so they stop paying attention. But expansion requires presence, not autopilot. Stay aware. Stay responsive. Trust me, what comes next will bring clarity to a question you may not have voiced yet. Why certain things are accelerating while others remain still. This understanding will protect you from frustration and help you move with wisdom rather than force. Archangel Michael explains that expansion is selective by design. Some areas move faster because they are aligned. Others wait because they require further refinement. This is not imbalance. It is intelligence. Do not compare timelines. Comparison introduces confusion. Your path is responding to your obedience, not someone else's outcome. Focus preserves clarity. You may also feel a renewed sense of responsibility toward your inner life. Rest, reflection, and spiritual discipline matter more now, not less. Expansion grows from reserves. Keep those reserves full. This phase asks you to trust what you have become. Stop second-guessing growth. Stop questioning stability. You are not the same person who stood at the beginning of this journey. You have changed. Honor that change. Archangel Michael says that many delays happen when people refuse to acknowledge growth. They keep seeking confirmation for what has already matured. You do not need to start over. You need to continue forward. There is grace available now to say no without guilt and yes without fear. This balance is rare, and it is powerful. As this part closes, remember, expansion is not something you chase. It is something you steward. Stay present. Stay focused. What is unfolding next will bring final clarity to how this season completes its work in you. Beloved one, Archangel Michael now brings your awareness to a closing phase that often feels quieter but carries great authority. This is the phase of confirmation through endurance. Not endurance born from struggle, but endurance born from stability. You are no longer pushing forward. You are remaining faithful while momentum sustains itself. At this stage, many expect a dramatic signal that says, "You've arrived." But heaven rarely works that way. Instead, confirmation shows up as continuity. You keep moving, and nothing collapses. You remain aligned, and nothing pulls you off course. What once felt fragile now feels dependable. This is one of the strongest signs that the checkpoint was crossed correctly. Archangel Michael explains that endurance is the proof that alignment has taken root. Anyone can move forward briefly. You can remain steady without reverting to old patterns. You are doing something rare. You are holding clarity without needing constant reinforcement. You may notice that challenges still appear, but they no longer derail your sense of direction. They become part of the landscape, not obstacles to progress. This is not emotional hardness. It is spiritual grounding. You are anchored. There is also a deepening trust in your ability to navigate uncertainty. You no longer panic when outcomes are unclear. You no longer assume delay means denial. You have learned the difference between waiting and wandering. Waiting holds direction. Wandering loses it. Archangel Michael highlights that this is where many finally release the need to control timing. You act when instructed. You pause when guided. And you no longer force movement just to feel productive. This maturity protects you from burnout. This phase can feel less exciting than earlier stages, but it is far more powerful. Excitement initiates movement. Endurance sustains it. Heaven values sustainability because it produces lasting fruit. You may also notice a shift in how you evaluate success. It is no longer about speed or visibility. It is about integrity and alignment. You ask different questions now. Is this faithful? Is this true? Is this aligned? These questions guide you more reliably than external metrics ever could. Archangel Michael says that endurance refines discernment further. You become skilled at recognizing subtle misalignment before it grows. You adjust early. You listen closely. This prevents unnecessary detours. There is also a sense of quiet authority developing. People may seek your perspective not because you are loud, but because you are steady. Stability attracts trust, and trust creates influence. Do not underestimate this phase simply because it feels calm. Calm is often the environment where the most important work is done. Seeds are growing. Structures are strengthening. Capacity is expanding quietly. You may reflect back on the person you were before January 31 and barely recognize that version of yourself. Not because you rejected who you were, but because you have integrated what you learned. Growth does not erase the past, it redeems it. Archangel Michael reassures you that nothing you endured was wasted. Every delay taught discernment. Every pause refined intention. Every challenge strengthened clarity. You are not carrying baggage, you are carrying wisdom. There may still be moments of temptation to look back, to wonder what if, or to question whether you could have moved faster. Release those thoughts. They do not serve the present. The path unfolded exactly as it needed to. This phase also teaches you how to finish well, not with haste but with honor, not with exhaustion, but with faithfulness. Finishing well prepares you for what comes next, even if that next chapter has not yet been revealed. Archangel Michael emphasizes that endurance does not mean stagnation. It means faithful continuation. You are still growing, still learning, still adjusting, but you are no longer unstable. Pay attention to how peace now accompanies effort. Work does not drain you the same way. Responsibility does not overwhelm you the same way. This is alignment supporting you from within. As this part of the message settles, understand this truth. You are not in a waiting room. You are on the path, and the path is holding you. What comes next will bring this entire journey into focus. It will tie together the checkpoint, the movement, the alignment, and the endurance into one clear understanding. Stay present. The closing revelation is near. My beloved child, Archangel Michael now brings this journey to its point of completion, not an ending but a sealing. What began as a spiritual checkpoint now becomes a clear passage forward. You are no longer standing at the threshold. You have crossed it. And what matters now is not what you leave behind, but what you carry with you. This final understanding is simple, yet powerful. Movement without delay was never about speed. It was about agreement. Agreement between your spirit and heaven. Agreement between what you know and how you live. Agreement between calling and action. And now, that agreement has been formed. You may notice something deeply reassuring at this stage. There is less urgency, but more certainty. Less questioning, but more direction. This is not complacency. It is confidence rooted in truth. You are no longer chasing alignment. You are walking in it. Archangel Michael explains that completion does not always feel dramatic. Often, it feels like relief. A quiet sense that something heavy is lifted. A realization that you are no longer fighting yourself. This is the reward of obedience without delay. January 31 marked a moment where understanding was required. Today, that understanding has matured into embodiment. You are not the same person who first received this message. Your awareness is sharper. Your discernment is stronger. Your stability is deeper. There is also a release happening now, a release from unnecessary striving. You no longer need to prove that you are faithful. Your consistency speaks for itself. Heaven recognizes alignment long before results appear. Archangel Michael declares that what lies ahead will not require you to abandon who you are becoming. It will require you to trust it. Trust your clarity. Trust your timing. Trust the growth that has already taken place. You may still face challenges, but they will no longer define your direction. They will refine your execution. There is a difference. One confuses. The other strengthens. This final phase invites gratitude, not as a ritual, but as recognition. Recognition that guidance was present. Recognition that courage was exercised. Recognition that delay no longer has authority over your decisions. Archangel Michael also speaks reassurance. You are not late for anything meant for you. Alignment redeems time. What arrives now will arrive prepared, not rushed. As this message completes, take a moment to acknowledge what has shifted within you. Even if you cannot name it fully, you can feel it. That is enough. And now, a final activation is released. Type "I walk forward in trust" in the comments if this message has sealed clarity in your spirit. Blessing code 2121 is now activated. As this journey concludes, the Spirit speaks clearly. What you receive freely, help release freely. This message did not come to stop with you. It came to move through you. When you support this mission through Super Thanks, channel membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are answering a divine call, not making a contribution. I am speaking to you directly now. Your obedience in this moment becomes provision for voices, messages, and souls that have not yet heard. This is a prophetic act of partnership, a seed placed into living soil. I declare that those who respond now will see clarity where there was confusion, momentum where there was delay, and blessing that overtakes obedience. Act now. Release the seed. Let heaven respond.